Hour number 2 begins. If you want to join us, it's 321-339-1055. What a time to be in the real estate market or be a real estate agent or broker right now. We're joined by a good friend of the program and tremendous real estate agent here in Central Florida, Dawood Bedrosian. Dawood, how are you, brother? Thanks. We've been talking about this for a couple weeks now. I'm glad to finally be on the air with you.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here.
But the question is, we're mid-pandemic. We're in the middle of the worst pandemic in our lifetime. But I hear on the street that the real estate market is maybe as hot as it's ever been. How do these two things go together?
Well, it's really simple. I think what it really comes down to is it's a perfect setup for this pandemic that created a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety with a lot of people staying at home. But really what it comes down to at the end of the day is simple economics 101, demand and supply. The truth of the matter is people were afraid in the first couple of months. People were losing their jobs. People are getting laid off, furloughed. And I think people were not sure what the state of the affairs were. But that coupled with an all-time recent low in mortgage rates at sub 3%. I think the current rate's about 2.74, the lowest it's been since 1971. Yeah. I think those people that have been shacked up in their houses have said, you know what, I'm done with this house. I need a bigger house. I may need a house with a office that I can work out of, a place for the kids to use as a homeschooling space, and just create a little bit more of a better home dynamic or a workspace dynamic for people working from home and definitely not going into the workspaces.
How do you trust these Zillow and ePraisals and things like that? Let's say I'm not desperate to sell my house right now, but I'm thinking about it. I hear about how hot the real estate market is. Should I trust these online server farms, so to speak, or should I call someone like you and really get an accurate value of my house to help me decide should I sell or not?
So one of my favorite memes is Batman slapping Robin when he goes, I just found out my house was worth. And the truth of the matter is, you know, Zillow and Realtor.com and a lot of these other online portals are really great to give you a direction of what's out there in the market for those people that don't have access to MLS. The only issue with that is they're pulling a lot of their numbers from algorithms. And I would definitely consult with someone who is an expert, your trusted real estate friend, family member, or call me if you need any personal advice as well too. Because every sub-market is different, and there's a lot of areas in the Orlando area that have its own dynamic. And I think you really need to get a sense of what's going on within that own community, that subdivision, versus looking at the general numbers of what's sold, let's say, for example, in a half-mile or 1 mile radius.
What about this? So a lot of times if someone, obviously we have the internet now, where back in the day, if you were looking for a house, you would always go hire your own agent to go show properties to you. Now I feel that there are a lot of people out there who do a lot of the research on the internet themselves before even hiring an agent. If I'm looking to buy a house, should I just use the agent who is the listing agent, or should I use someone like you who can help me go find a house, help me look for the type of house that I'm really looking for? What's the best strategy in that situation?
So let's look at the current state of the market right now. Real estate as a whole, in terms of the profession that I'm personally in, is shifting. Zillow is turning into its own brokerage. There's a lot of companies that are offering buyers the opportunity to deal with them directly, buy their houses from them, and then sell it onto the market, which works out really well for a lot of people looking to sell their house without a broker per se. However, I really think if you really want to be guided well, don't leave money on the table. I think it's really great to go back to the basics. Find an agent that you trust. Find an agent that has a lot of experience and a wealth of information to share, and be able to be guided in the right way so that you're actually dealing with a real person, not someone behind a computer or on a phone, someone that can actually come and cater to your needs. Because I think part of the whole real estate process of either buying or selling has more to do with dealing with people on a human basis, and the psychological aspect of comforting them through, you know, the stress of selling their house or the uncertainty of what's going on, especially in a market like this that's really hot, where they keep putting out offers all the time. Their offers are being rejected because their expectations are unrealistic. And I think that part is really, really, really important. I think with automation and all this great technology that we have, that's great in terms of providing information. But the human touch, the human experience is more important than anything else.
What is the best way to reach you? Let's say I want to find out what my house really is worth and I don't trust Zillow. Or let's say I want to go see some properties and I want you to show me around. What is the best way to reach out to you?
So I work 9 days a week.
Yes.
You can always reach me at 321-229-1217. That's 321-229-1217. Or you can always send me an email at info@thebestfloridahomes with an s.com. That's info@thebestfloridahomes.com.
Dawood Bedrosian joins me. He is with Remax Town Center, an excellent agent here in town. We trust him inherently. Let me ask another question, though, because I see a lot of times where people will go to one of these, let's say, builders. Like you drive by and you see all the flags in front of this new neighborhood, D.R. Horton, or any of these big builders that you see. And I think people are tempted to just go in there themselves, talk to whoever the agent is at the desk, and do all the negotiating there themselves. And why people do that, I don't know. Because as an agent, can't you help me with that process? And it also cost me $0?
Correct. Absolutely. I'm so glad you touched on that, because one of the things that I was thinking about mentioning on this call today is, I find that with the scarcity of homes that we have on the market, I mean, we're running on average about less than 2 months of inventory based on the latest stats from Aura. And what we're finding is, it's becoming harder and harder to actually get that house that you want because of this multiple offer situation. Yeah. So that being the case, I find that if you know how to leverage that, going to a builder that actually has inventory available is actually the best way to go to get the house that you want, that's brand new. And more importantly, if it's midway through, maybe possibly even finish it out the way that you want to. Yeah. The truth of the matter is, a lot of these realtors that you work with have relationships with the builder and know what kind of leverage or what kind of discounts that are really available to the client, and can really take advantage of getting you the max dollars that you need in order to get the best deal on the house, get some closing costs covered, and more importantly, dollars for Design Center to finish up and upgrade the house the way that you want to.
I think that is a concern sometimes when people go to the builder on pre-construction or even something that's mid-construction is, okay, there's a base price, almost like buying the Kia for $15,000 that you see in the newspaper. It costs $15,000, but by the time you put tires and a steering wheel in it, it's actually $50,000.
Correct.
How does that work when you're dealing directly with the builder? This base price versus what the price really is going to be with cabinets in the house,
Yeah, so I think the best part about that, once again, is when you're dealing with someone who is a quote-unquote expert and understands the market, you understand that when you go to a builder, especially after visiting them, a couple of times, that you're finding that there is a range, an average, let's say a $20,000 increase in upgrades that you're going to be looking at, so that you should best advise your client before we go in. Your base price here is, for example, $400, but let's really budget for all the upgrades that I know that you would like after understanding what you're into. You want that nice modern look. You want the subway glass tiles on the backsplash. You want the quartz countertops. We should budget this kind of pricing, and then at least work through that with them so that they know what to expect when they're going there. They're not blindsided in the process.
I think a lot of people are still renting, which I've been blabbing for years now that renting is not the way to go in this current climate. I mean, I would argue that the same exact house, if you rent it, let's say the rental price is $2,200. I think that if you go buy it based on the interest rates where they are now, your mortgage payment, PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, is going to be significantly less every time renting versus buying right now. What about this, though? How hard is it to qualify for a mortgage now? And let me preface that by saying, in 2006, a pulse and a pen, you could get $1 million house essentially. And then I think 2010, it took some of an act of Congress to get a mortgage.
Correct.
If someone is out there renting right now, how difficult is it to actually qualify for a mortgage?
So I think really what it comes down to is, as long as you have 3.5% down, decent credit, you stand a really good chance.
I totally agree.
Interest rates are low. Now, the criteria has become a lot more difficult during Corona, but I think if you can at least work on improving on your credit and exercising that as an option, you stand a much better chance, just like you're saying, Justin, to be able to purchase a home with very little down. And the money that you're paying for this house, even though the house prices are going up, the money is cheap.
Yeah.
It's a lot cheaper for you to be able to buy that house and pay for that mortgage than it is for you to go out and rent a similar property. Actually, not even a similar property. A 2-bedroom in the Orlando area is averaging anywhere between $1,300 to $1,800, maybe a little bit more depending on where you're trying to live. It's a lot of money. You
Easy.
put that towards your pocket and definitely not pay your landlord's mortgage payment.
And I don't know if we'll ever see interest rates as low as they are right now. It's crazy. It's free money. I say that if you had a financial advisor and they were coming back to you saying that they were getting 2% on your investment, you would fire them immediately. I mean, the rates are that good when it comes to buying a house. But I don't want to scare you that, oh, this market is so hot for sellers. It's such a seller's market. I don't want to scare you from going to look for houses either. Are there still some areas out there where I can find a deal, and where are they?
So it's a really great point that you're bringing, because I think a lot of buyers are also scared. And they're saying, you know what, I'm just going to wait it out. I understand that the mortgage rates are cheaper, but I'm just going to wait this out. I think what we're noticing is, because Orlando is expanding at such a rapid pace, we just read a statistic from the New York Times that says over 1,000 people are moving down to to Florida on a daily basis. And a ton of people are moving here because the median price to purchase a home is under $300,000, been hovering around $270,000, $275,000, which is nothing compared to a lot of the people that are buying in the Northeast. And what we're finding is, especially with what's going on with more and more people working from home, they're more apt to go outside of the Orlando area and get a better deal on a home in some of these areas where you're getting newer homes, more land, and definitely a lot more space for you and your family to enjoy while you're at home now.
So let's say I do want to sell. I want to hire you to sell my house, and I either want to upsize because I've got kids going to college, or downsize, or whatever it is. Or I just want to take advantage of the market being hot, but then I need somewhere to live as well. How does that work when I want to sell one house and immediately buy and move into another? Almost a double closing. How does that timing really work when someone wants to go that direction?
So honestly, I think it's based on a case-by-case basis. Right. I think if you're working with a team of professional people, we can definitely ease or smoothen out that process in order for that transition to be as stress-free as possible. It's hard to predict the future. I wish I had a little crystal ball here. But really, I think there's a lot of great opportunities for homes on the market. I think some people have already relocated to other places as well, too, so that there's a number of homes that are vacant, that are not occupied by their current owner, where you can sell your house and move into that house as well too, or you can basically write up a contract contingent on the sale of your own property as well too, and massage through that process so that we have a smooth transition through here as well too.
And if you have any questions whatsoever for Dawood Bedrosian, please call him. Best number one more time. This is a direct number for you, right?
Absolutely.
Well, if you want to call him directly, what's the number?
Directly call me at 321-229-1217. I'm dealing with clients all the way out in Hawaii that I get phone calls at 4 o'clock in the morning and 5 o'clock in the morning because they have no sense of time over there.
No,
So
they do. They just
anytime.
don't care.
Yeah,
It's
I know
Dawood will be available, so we'll give him a call anyway. And it brings me to another point when you're talking about people from other places, because I remember last year we would always say we have 900 people a day moving to Florida. This is before Fauci invented the virus or whatever. This year, I believe I'm bullish on Florida because I think that 900 number is only going to increase. We have people from New York and other big cities who are now saying, what a great time to move to Florida.
Correct.
Are you seeing that down in the trenches now?
Let's go through this. Property taxes are cheaper. No state income tax. Housing prices are cheaper. Guys, everything is cheaper here.
It's no brainer.
The cost of living is a lot cheaper. The weather is better. Every New Yorker, every single year goes, I'm from Canada. Every Canadian, every single year goes, this is the last year I'm going to stay in Canada. It's too cold here. I'm going to buy something in Florida and move there.
Right.
It never happens because spring comes along, summer comes along, and everything's hunky-dory wherever they're at. Now is a perfect opportunity to come down, sell a very expensive house that they have over here, collect the savings for themselves, and not only buy one house, but also look at other investment properties. Now, the sweet spot here is you're also finding a lot of people from the Northeast and countries like Canada that are trying to take advantage of this opportunity here with the low interest rates to actually come in and buy investment properties as well too. And even though we have a local perspective on that, you always win with the more investment properties and passive income that you can create. And that's something I think we should not overlook in this time as well too.
I totally agree with you. And while we're sitting here saying, yes, it's a seller's market in Central Florida, if you look at the average price of a, say, 3,000 square foot house here versus in New Jersey or New York, it's significant. It's half almost if you really look at it. But then if you look at the property taxes in Jersey, the average property tax is over $8,000 a year. Here it's around $2,000.
Correct.
And then no state income taxes. And again, the cold air comes from up there too. I mean, it's that's why I remain incredibly bullish on this market here in Central Florida. Not just if you're renting, of course we need to buy. But even if you're looking for somewhere to invest, I can't think of a more volatile stock market that's probably going to happen over the next few months. But when you look at investing in real estate, it's just not that volatile.
Justin, one more thing. We cannot forget that we are home to the mouse.
That's right.
And no matter what's going on with this corona, oh, you don't like that word.
No,
with the
I do.
virus, with the virus.
No, dude,
Yeah.
you're allowed to say it.
Okay.
It's just the words Brianna and I aren't allowed to say. We have to say virus,
Okay,
but you can
with
say
the
whatever.
virus.
Yeah.
The reality of the situation is we're going to bounce back. We're already seeing Disney and Universal capping out at whatever capacities they're running at right now. We're getting in, driving in tourists. And what we're noticing is a lot of the short-term vacation homes are renting out like crazy because of the comfort, the safety level that people feel of being there with their own families, cooking their own food, enjoying the swimming pools, etc. So I think from that segment as well, it offers a really great investment opportunity for someone that's looking to purchase a property, put down the down payment, and essentially have the rentals cover the expenses of the home here in the market too.
That was awesome. I think you did a great job. What do you think, Lurch? He's good, right? That's great information. You learned some stuff today, too. And I want you to call Dawood Bedrosian for any question you have about real estate. He's our official real estate guru. One more time, phone number.
321-229-1217.
Excellent work. We're going to do this every Tuesday, I believe. And then you're doing the TV show with me soon, right? Over on our news partner, News 6. Is it when we set that up yet?
No, not yet, but we'll set it up.
All right, we got to set that up right away. We're going to do TV together as well.
Let's do it.
Awesome, brother. All right, every Tuesday, tune in. We'll do this real estate hour every single Tuesday. Great job.
Thank you, sir.
Stick around. It's Justin Clark on the Florida Man Radio Network.